Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta. Hi, hi.
Hi, 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 hi. We are so happy and so grateful that you came to hang out with us. As always, we like to set our initial contact. We are all about kindness and compassion for one another, and we hope that's what you're looking for today. So come with us on this journey.
Thank you for that, Gloria. And we're going to start off by the teas that we're drinking today. And my tea that I'm drinking, it is by a company called Herbal Cup Ayurveda tea. And it's called Anti-Stress. And it says, helps reduce stress, no caffeine. And it's all organic. And I'm going to read you the ingredients. And it says here, it's a long list of ingredients here. It says it's made of licorice root, chamomile flower, hibiscus flower, fennel seeds, tulsi leaves, um, coriander seeds, ginger root, linden flowers, ashwagandha root, which is an adaptogen, spearmint leaves, uh, valerian root, lavender flower, scallop leaves, and clove buds. That's a long list. Never tried this one before, so I'm gonna had it seeping here. And why don't you tell people what you're gonna be drinking, Gloria?
Okay, I am drinking, let's see, Tazo
Oh yeah,
apricot
I forgot to show
vanilla.
everyone my box. I'll show it this. Can you see
Yes,
it?
there we go. Anti-stress.
Yeah.
Have to get some of that. I'm all about anti-stress. So this is my tea, and it is apricot vanilla cream. Very simple ingredients for me. Mine is white tea and apricot cream flavor. Simple, simple, simple.
Simple.
So with
Unlike
that
mine is
said,
a long list of
yeah,
ingredients.
no, yours is a long list today. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Oh, very hot.
Mm,
Wow.
very good and
Initial
warm.
tasting of my one is licorice. And I love my
Oh,
licorice.
nice. Your fave.
Yes, and the reason
Your
why
favorite.
it's so prominent in licorice because it has fennel in there as well, which is also licorice tasting.
Double whammy.
Yep.
All right. So, as always, when we start our chats, our thoughts and prayers go out to the universe. There's lots going on in the world today. We hope that everyone that's in the Middle East right now are going to find a safe way to their homes, wherever that may be. And may everything work out for the betterment of all mankind. So, as you go on the journey with us, you will see that Rosetta and I focus on love and compassion. And everything we do is bringing more empathy into our world and into our children so that they will bring it into the next generation. That's important. So let's get started. Today is National Hug a GI Day. Today couldn't have been a more appropriate day for that classification. So if you see a GI or a veteran, ask first. Say, may I give you a hug? And if they say, I'm okay, say, thank you for your service. That's a virtual hug.
Ah, very good. And we also have today is National Sons Day. And that is quite fitting because both Gloria and I both have sons. Now, around the world, significantly more sons are born than daughters. Did you know that? So, what
No,
you
because women outpopulate men. Isn't that interesting?
I know that is very interesting. And then how you can observe it is consider all the things you want your son to know and be when he's an adult. So you can take a long day to take one day to teach your son something you think is important for him to know. You can join an organization for mentoring boys where the male role models are absent, which is very good. And find a role model that fits the interest of your son. Teach your son something your father taught you. Make a day unique by taking a photo with your sons together and share on social media using hashtag National Sons Day. Or if you have a previously taken picture, post that on social media and say Happy National Sons Day.
I love it. I love it. That's
And then,
wonderful.
yep. And then we also have a birthday I have to mention. And today's birthday is none other than the actress Catherine O'Hara. And she is best known
Oh,
for her roles in The Beetlejuice and Home Alone.
yes. Lovely, lovely. Love that. We would also like to acknowledge Women's History Month. It's the entire month of March. This is where we honor the vital contributions of women in American history, cultural, society, and with the 2026 theme is Leading the Charge, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future. Women, we're powerful beings. This is awesome. Originally a local California celebration in 1978, it started here, just a few women. It has grown into national month-long observance um, from 1987, featuring educational programs, lectures, and event. Women History Month also honors the successes and the sacrifices of U.S. women. It dates back to the actual date was March 8th, 1857, where hundreds of women from New York garment and textile factories rallied to protest harsh working conditions. And that's just one example. You can go back through the history and see where women have, you know, I always, because I was raised around a lot of women, my grandmother used to always say, always be kind until you can't be. Always be nice until you can't be. Always be in line, in lockstep until you can't be. And women, we try and stay the course. However, if the course is difficult, not just for women, but for all people, women will show up and take action. I love that about us.
Yep, I love that as well. Thank you. All
Okay.
right. So we want to do another update in regards to the famous Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie. Now, every week we've been doing a little bit of update, and we're in week 4 of this. So it's been a month. And it's very hard because initially, when they first started doing all this, and they were actually finding um, people to work on the case, they had up to 400 people at one time working on the case. So, as you know, that takes a lot of manpower and a lot of
Mhm.
finances to support all these up to 400 people. And they've actually brought back the people, some of the people from the Tucson office back to the original Arizona office. And it's kind of sad because we know that there's a video that went out from the camera, the front door camera, and 2 pictures that were taken. Um, Even though with all this 400 people working on the case, forensics, FBI, everything, there hasn't really been able to be a real hit on who the suspects are. I mean, they keep finding maybe a suspect because they did actually detain this gentleman and they released him as a suspect earlier on. And then recently, they also got some another gentleman they thought might maybe a suspect, and he didn't know anything about this, and he was released as well. So they keep coming on dead ends. And one thing that did pop up most recently was that one of Nancy Guthrie's friends said that she recently stated that Nancy had started recently wearing a very powerful hearing aid, and she also started using a cane. Now, the reason why I say a very powerful hearing aid, and this is important, is because usually what happens is if you are wearing a hearing aid, usually a lot of people don't wear it when they go to bed. They take it off before they go to bed. And if this was a very powerful hearing aid, you know that she had severe or extreme hearing loss to have the powerful one. So in the middle of the night, around 2 a.m., is when she was abducted. This means that she wouldn't have heard anything outside
Mm,
or happening around the house, or someone broke into the house, or any kind of noise, because of the fact that she was, hard of hearing. And then plus she was using a cane, so she had difficulties in her walking, so she needed something to steady her. Um, so really, she's in regards to that, she wouldn't have heard anything. Now the other update I have is that it's kind of sad, but in the most recent um, video that Savannah actually spoke out on social media, in so many words, she kind of acknowledged that it may be possible that her mom may no longer be with us,
right,
which is kind of sad,
right,
because I think that as what happens is, as time goes on in regards to any kind of abduction or any kind of like maybe someone is couldn't be found or has not returned home, time is not on your side really when it
right.
happens to people like that. So they're doing the best they can, they're not giving up hope. And it's hard because all the DNA that they've come up with has not been able to lead them to anything. They did find some DNA in the house, but that was partial DNA. And it was hard because they're having trouble separating, because there was a multiple of different DNAs in the house. So it's hard to separate.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I mean, there has my theory as not my theory because I don't know what happened, but I'm
Right.
kind of like a person that if all else fails, like in regards to abduction, some people may believe in this or some people may not believe in this. But I say, how about have you thought about seeking the help of a medium, like a clairvoyant?
Mm, yes,
Because
yes,
I remember back in the days, there used to be this one clairvoyant, and they said that she said that they always called upon her if there was any cases such as abductions or couldn't find missing persons. She
yes,
was the go-to person. So I'm thinking, hey, if you are listening, why don't you seek the help of a medium or a clairvoyant? And they might
yes,
be able to give you some clues. They may not be able to tell you exactly what had happened, but they might give you clues that might be able to help you, or they may give you way more than that. We never know. So,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
don't know. This is week 4, so that's my idea, and I'm just still praying that something they're able to find something.
yeah. Well, on Monday, Savannah, her sister Annie, and her brother-in-law Tomaso, they visited the Mother's Tribute where people have left all those beautiful yellow flowers. And she actually went on Instagram and she posted, "We feel the love and prayers from our neighbors, from the Tucson community, and from around the country. Please don't stop praying and hoping with us. Bring her home." Now, the sheriff has said that they feel like that with the leads they have, they believe that they're getting closer to finding a suspect or suspects. It's just they don't have any clear individual yet. So we will continue to keep the family in our thoughts and prayers, and we hope that they will get some good news because this is just it's been too long. It's going in, like Rosetta said, we're headed into the second month. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Exactly.
Yeah. And I like your idea because when you said that, I used to have, I call her my friend. Her name was Terry Brill, and she was a psychic. And she used to get called when people couldn't find someone. And she would come and she could, she used to do the East West bookstore in Mountain View. And you could go to a class there and she would, grab your ear and she'd tell you things. And you're like, how do you know that? But that was just how clairvoyant she was. So that I hope that they're listening to us. Savannah, darling, call, use all of the resources available, all of them.
Yes, exactly.
So Rosetta and I were talking about this little show called American's Next Top Model. I think I watched it from the very beginning because number one, I like the fact that Tyra Banks was a top model. She was, one of the Victoria's Secret angel models. She walked the runways. She did Paris Week, New York Week. She was all about. And I always thought this show was about showing the behind the scenes, the rough life it took to become a top model. Well, have it as it is, Netflix decided to do a behind the scenes of the show. It's a three-part documentary. I'm trying to think. I know I wrote the name of it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's called,
can't-
you got the name of it?
no, do you? I know I
It's
wrote it
called
down.
Tyra Banks Next Top Model Reality Check.
Yes. So I watched it live. It ran from 2003 to 2018, and I think it was 23, 24 series. Well, as you would have it, people started binge watching it. And the people watching it now are like, oh my God, they're horrified. So Netflix decides to do a whole documentary on this, talking about what it was like for the models from the other side. We saw the judges, we saw Tyra, we saw the influential people who came to dress the girls, all of that. If you watch this documentary, you get to learn a lot more, right, Rosetta?
Yeah, exactly. I think that we, as the audience watching it, we were thinking this was going to be a way that young ladies could be found and maybe be able to make a career out of this once if they became the next top model, or even if they weren't, maybe because they're on TV, some agency may pick them up, and it'll be a great way, a great stepping stone for the career that they've always wanted. And as Gloria mentioned, it is a three-part series, and it really goes into depth. um, what's really interesting is that they bring Tyra on as today. They talk about her as today. They interview her. They also bring back several of the contestants, the top models that were actually in
Yes,
Tyra's Next Top Model. We're going to go through
yes,
some of those. And they also talk about the team that Tyra put together to make this series, Next Top Model. And she pitched this very early on in 2002. And the person she went to first was a marketing guy called Ken Mock. And if you know about the reality TV and stuff, he's very big in that scene. And he is the godfather of reality TV. So he's one of the people that she brought on to help with this show. Then she had two men, one by Jay Alexander. He taught Tyra how to walk on the catwalk.
yeah. When she was
Uh,
16, he taught
yeah,
her. That's
Nick
how long
Jay.
he has known her.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have another person who she brought on for the show called Jay Manuel. And
Yes,
he
Mr.
was
J.
brought on. Yes, he was brought on. He's a makeup artist, but he was asked to be the photo shoot director of the show. Uh,
Yes,
and he is a big visionary. So those are the
yes.
three people that she brought on. But then she also brought on someone else. Who was the other?
Nigel,
Nigel.
Nigel. Mm-hmm.
Nigel Barker. They wanted a photographer that was a white photographer because back in the days, early 2000s, there wasn't much diversity on TV, so they needed someone to even it out. So they wanted a white photographer, but needless to say, he's not 100% white because he's half Sri Lankan and half British.
Yes,
But he was a
yes,
very,
yes,
very good looking guy. I'm like, wow, he is really good looking. So
yes.
that makes up the team. And then they talk about certain individuals that were competing in this. America's Top Model. And how this started was that a lot of people, Tyra had this idea that she wanted to make this show that to see what it took to be a model in this industry,
Right.
to represent not all just white, skinny, showing all
Right.
the different types of beauty that there was to be had in this world. And
Right.
she went around and pitched it to many, many different network shows, but a lot of them would not budge and did not want to pick it up, apart from a television network called UPN. And at
Mhm.
that time, the director was called, her name was Dawn Ostroff. And she actually picked up Top Model because she thought that this would be something that would be great because she needed something to pull up the ratings of her network show. So what they did was they did a casting call and they wanted to give the public what they thought at that time was what beauty was, what they thought beauty was
Right.
going to be. So they picked. They had a lot of auditions, and there's a lot of pushback. And their definition at that time, in the early 2000s, of diversity was if there was one black person in the show or in the reality show that was diverse enough. But Tyra wanted to choose this Latino lady, and they wouldn't have it. But in the end, the very first Latino gal, her name was called Giselle. So she is one of the girls that comes on, and they interview her now, present day, and she talks about what it was like to be the very first Latino girl on the show. And
Right.
it was like she had made it because she was the very first one. Uh, I don't recall. There wasn't much. Was there really much drama going on with her? It's just that she was the first Latino girl.
She was just the first. It wasn't like some of the other situations that we
Right.
know of. This one was pretty mild.
Pretty mild. And then there was one that was talk of the town, and this model's name was called Shandy Sullivan. Now,
Yes.
Shandy Sullivan, she was young at the time, very young. She worked at Walgreens.
Yes.
And she actually applied to be one of the girls on Top Model. And when she entered for the audition in the room, she said that she wanted to, the reason why she wanted to be on the show was she wanted to stop working at Walgreens. One day she wanted to stop working at Walgreens. And come to find out, obviously it's a reality show, but come to find out that the contract in this show says that they are they are to document everything. So whatever happens in the models' homes, whatever happens wherever cameras are, they have to document every little thing. So they know that their life is going to be out there in the public for everyone to
Right.
see. Now, Shandy is one of the ones that it's talk of the town. The reason being is because they're on a photo shoot in Milan, and one of the shoots is they're going to be on these mopeds with these Italian good-looking guys, and they're going to be riding around town. Now, one of the events that took place was that they decided, the models, that it would be a good idea to have like a social event and have an evening where they would invite the men that were on those mopeds to come to their next top model's home
Right.
and to kind of,
And we know because they were underage, there had to be some adults that allowed that to happen.
yes, exactly. And what happened was, to cut a long story short, was that this particular model, Shandy Sullivan, now she had not eaten because remember back in those days, early 2000s, all the
Yes.
models had to be skinny, 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 stick thin. They had to do it no matter what. Binge, purge, be anorexic, do whatever they need to do to
whatever.
starve their body to be that stick figure size 0 or double zero. She had not eaten that day, and when they had invited these men, she kind of had a bit too much to drink. They were all in the hot tub, and one thing led to another, and she started locking eyes with one of the guys on the moped. And the next thing you know, she said that she was woken up with this guy on top of her. And the story evolves is probably what I think is that he took advantage of her, and I don't know if he drugged her or because she was so drunk that she didn't
I
know
think
what
it
was
was because she
happening.
was so drunk. Yeah, I think it was because she was so drunk because to me, the most upsetting part was that they recorded it.
That was the most upsetting that yes, they recorded every single thing because that was their job. They said you knew coming into this reality show, Next Top Model, that everything is going to be documented, whether you like it or not. So everything had to be recorded, cameras rolling and everything. And it was just the fact that I don't know when it becomes like, when does your conscience take over? That's my thinking. Like, do the
Yes,
right thing, right? Do the
right.
right thing. But they didn't because they were all under this contract. Even the cameramen were probably told to film everything, otherwise they would be fired or something.
Yeah. And the bad thing for me, number one, Shawnee always talked about her boyfriend and how her boyfriend was so proud of her. As a part of the show, after all of that happened, the disgrace of that was bad enough. They filmed her calling her boyfriend and telling him that she had slept with someone else. And even real time today, Shawnee said that people would see her with her boyfriend because they tried to put it back together and they would call her disgusting names, even with him with her.
Yeah.
So even if he was able to forgive the situation, the public could not forgive it. And so it was just that for me was oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there were other incidents.
There were other incidents. We're not going to go into details of all the names in real detail, but another
Yeah, because we
incident
don't have
was,
enough time. We only
yeah,
got about 12 minutes.
one of the girls, one of the models, she was an African American model, and she came in with a gap in her teeth.
Yes,
And they,
Danielle.
yes, her name was Danielle, forget her name, Danielle, I forget, Danielle Evans. That's it,
Yeah.
Danny Evans.
Yeah, they
And
called her Danny as she
yes,
became more popular instead of Danielle. They dropped all that and she was just Danny.
yes. And Tyra said, you know, you're going to have to fix your teeth if you want to move on. And one of the things that they did for the girls, they said, is we're going to take you to a dentist office and we're going to give you a procedure. So one of the girls had like double teeth and her teeth was all jagged and crooked. So they wanted to fix
Right.
it. She was really happy because she knew that in her lifetime, no way could she afford that. So she was really happy.
Exactly.
But this Danny model, she didn't know that what they wanted for her was to get her teeth fixed and to the gap, they wanted that to be closed. And at the time that they went to
Yes.
the dentist's office, obviously everything was recorded. They said that, you know, do you want to get your teeth fixed, the gap in your teeth? And she said no. And they went back and they all stood in front of the judges. And Tyra said, you know, if you do not fix the gap in your teeth, then you're going to be the next one to leave. So
Yes.
obviously she's really really upset because this is her thing, right? She wants to be America's next top
Well, it
model.
allows her to look like her family.
Yes.
It's not worth a career to change how you look. That's how Danny felt.
Yeah. So to cut a long story short, it was very sad because if she didn't fix her teeth, she would be gone. So she actually had them fix her teeth for her, even though she didn't want to. And the bad thing is that she couldn't pick up the phone and call her mother because they wouldn't allow her to use the telephone. So
Right.
she had no one to talk to about this. So she had to give in. And then there was other girls that came on and they talked about how one of them was like a size 6 now. size 6 is not big at all. It's quite
Yeah,
small,
but they
right?
called her fat.
But they called her fat and a plus size. And back in those days, there was no such size 6. That's too big.
Yeah.
But she became the very first plus size model. Her name is Whitney Thompson.
Yes.
So this whole documentary talks about the backstory of what really happened behind the scenes of America's Next Top Model and what kind of person Tyra was. Now, I can understand why people called her a bitch because she really was a bitch. But I don't know if it was because she knew what was happening in the industry and she needed to be like that because of for their own good so that they would have a
Right.
tough skin to be in that industry, or because she really was a bitch. But
Yeah.
what we know is that what I didn't like was that when the CEO of the UPN network station, Dawn Ostroff, left, the new CEO came in and they made a lot of changes. And one of the changes was
Hmm.
for Tyra to actually talk to her team, which was Jay Alexander, Jay Manuel, and Nigel Barker, and to have her fire them all. And I don't know why she didn't tell them that it wasn't her decision. So all this time, they're thinking that Tyra was the one that wanted to fire them. But in
Right.
reality, it was the network station that wanted to fire them. But what I'm saying is that this TV show is really, really, you understand more about the ins and outs of what was happening in this show, which you didn't know if you saw it just for face value. And I really
Yeah.
suggest, I mean, do you have anything else to say about this show, Gloria?
Well, quickly, because we're getting there. You mentioned Wendy. Remember Wendy was walking on the catwalk and they had that big clock swinging and it knocked her off? At the time I thought, oh, Lord have mercy. No, no, that was not prepared. Ms. J, which is the darker, well, he was the only black man because Manuel was Latino. He said the look on his face was shocked because she goes off. There was a young lady, her name was Tiffany. Tiffany was amazing, but Tiffany had attitude. And so Tyra yelled at her on camera, and she even said, I've never yelled at a girl like this in my life before. So there were things like that where you thought Tyra was a sweet, kind, loving person, trying to show them that that industry was not as easy as people thought. She wanted them to know that that was a tough world. If you're a size 6 and someone calls you fat and you can see your skeletal ribs, oh my God, that's a horrible environment. Yes, you can make a lot of money, and I think somewhere in the mix that all got tangled because, as you said, the synopsis is that she was Tyra. She was just being full of herself. She was just being a bitch. Now, Jay Manuel, because he was her makeup artist, said that he came into this with the understanding that if the two of them ever had an issue, they would come to each other, they would talk about it, they would handle it. That's not what happened. You know, his contract ended, he was out. Ms. J, the man that can walk, poor baby has had a stroke. He is very compromised. Tyra sent him flowers, but she didn't call him.
That was the one
So
thing that I didn't agree with. Why wouldn't she just reach out and actually go and visit him?
yes, he had a stroke. This man could not walk. This is the king of the catwalk. He taught everybody how to do that walk and nothing. So I don't know if the outcome of this will be that people will give her the opportunity to, come forth and say, y'all don't understand how rough it was back in the time. However, that was really difficult. They asked all three of them as part of the documentary if Tyra did a 24th, because there's 23 or 24 in the can, if she did one more, would they go back? And Miss J, Alexander, he pulled down his glasses and just looked and pushed his glasses up. Nigel said he probably would. Mr. J, Manuel, not so much. So what we recommend is watch some of the shows and then watch the documentary. You will be shocked at how that whole situation evolved.
Yeah, interesting and very shocking.
Yes. So, we always like to give you a little update on what's going on with the weather. The weather, as you know, is pretty crazy. We just had a orange moon eclipse, and it was at 1:05 a.m. here locally. And all of a sudden, they said 1:05 came, the moon starts to shift, and all of a sudden, the clouds rolled in, and they didn't see anything. They saw it in LA and they saw it in Hawaii, but not so much here in Northern California. And we have something really strange going on in San Ramon, California. We're having what they call earthquake swarms. That means it's just earthquake after earthquake. So they've been going on for about 34 days every day. And in, what was it, February 5th, they had a 4.2. That's been the biggest. And then Sunday, just Sunday of this week, they had a 3.4 at 11:21 p.m. So hang on, be safe. There's a lot going on in this industry, but we just wanted to give you a little bit of what's going on with the weather in Northern California.
Very scary.
Very. So we want you to know that we're grateful for everything that you do hanging out with us. We want you to know that we feel the love in this room and we send it back to you all, mwah, bubbling over. Yes.
And we loved our teas, drinking to our teas.
Yes.
And if you loved our chats, please hit the thumb icon, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell notification so you're the first to be notified when our chats are ready to be viewed. We thank you so
Yes.
much. We are Silicon Valley Girls, chat over tea. And
And
remember
remember
to
to
always
always
keep
keep
smiling.
smiling.
Take care. Bye bye.